When you change the threads, if you need to change it to match your skirt, you want to cut it here. And I'm just going to do these 3 because I only have these 3 threads. Okay, so you guys notice where I cut it? I didn't cut it over here, so it's easy to tie the knot and just pull it. And you risk actually your knot coming out as you go around the tension, because that's the area where it starts to pull. So what you can do instead, you can just kind of pull it away out of the 2 discs for your tension, pull it through, and then just reposition it around the tension. Okay. Try to give you guys some more shortcuts. Alright, so this is the blue thread, so we're going to pull it through. Okay, I'm just pulling it through just a little bit at a time. So just pulling the 2 threads out here, trying to figure out which one is the right one. So that's that white thread. Now we're going to do the next one. So it's not hard at all, is it? What if you don't have threads? You don't have threads there? Yeah. Then you're going to have to thread it. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Okay, good. I was like, always going to do this there. So this is the easy way. You will for the red and the green one, but for the yellow and the blue, you'll have to do that on your own. Because the yellow and the blue are sometimes the most difficult. Because the red and green actually just go through and they end up in the needles. So that's not really much there, but the red and the yellow and blue go through all of this. So they're much more difficult. But they're not difficult actually. It's just really remembering what goes where. Alright, so this is my yellow. Alright, so it's good. I'm changing this to the white thread, so it's easy for you guys to see what's going on. But the black thread is hard to tell. Now, if you have a lot of thread, like this machine is pretty dirty, there's a lot of thread. They have compressed air that is in Miss Maxine's and Miss Cassandra's office. And you'll just take the compressed air and you can just blow it out. And sometimes you will get lucky, like where your knot was tied, it went through the tension. Sometimes it won't come out. So, be looking. Now I have to thread the green one. Alright, so with the green one you can tell wherever you need to thread it, you'll see just a dot of the green or a dot of the red. So it shows you where you need to put threads. And I'll thread the red and the, not the red, but the blue and the yellow for you also. So you'll need your tweezer to help you to thread it. And it needs to be a bent tweezer like this. But watching me, actually, it helps to watch me, but the best way to learn how to do this is actually to do it. And then you can become familiar with everything. You need the experience of it. So it goes there, and then we're going to take it through the needles. Be careful because it's very easy for these strings to get hooked around other parts of the machine. Yeah, and it helps also, I noticed, with doing these, threading this, if there's an area where you can't really tell what's going on because of the color of the thread or the machine, you can always just put your finger behind it and you can see things a little bit clearer. It's like all these little screws and chrome everywhere. It can get confusing. Alright, so if you notice here, I have my yellow and my blue threads here. What I'll do is take the blue one out first, and then I'll thread this one. Alright, so for the blue one, I'm going to go through here. We'll take your thread down through the hole here. And then if you notice, you have a blue dot here, a blue dot there, and a blue dot here. So it's 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go, you see? There. There. And then here. Alright, so that's that. So we're going from here. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Now, we have what we call the pelican neck. Alright. So if you notice here, we've got this part right here that moves back and forth. So that helps it to loop. Now when threading that, we have a hole here. Can you see? You might need to come over here.
Sorry.
This is where it gets all crazy. Alright, so we've got a hole here. So we'll need to thread here from front to back. Alright, so that's our first hole there. And with this one, it's actually 3 holes. So this is the first one. Alright, now we're going to push the pelican net forward. So I'll push the wheel forward. Okay, so now it's on this side. Okay, can you see that? You might need to switch over here now. Now, I've threaded it on the back side first. So I'll need to take my string, push it to the other side. There is a bar. There's a bar right here that you need to make sure your string is above that bar. It does not need to be under it. Okay? So make sure your string is above the bar. And it's not hooked on anything. Alright. Wow, this machine is really dirty. Alright, so now, alright, and if you guys notice how it's through that one hole and it's coming through the pelican neck there, it shouldn't be like that. It has to be behind it. So, I'm going to push this back here. It has to be behind it. So this is the one part that a lot of people miss, because sometimes the string is behind the pelican neck, or it's tangled up around the pelican neck. So make sure it's behind it, or the bar is a problem. So make sure the string's above that. And then now I need to thread this from back to front. So I have a hole here. Now I'm going to thread it from back to front.
So it's a hole right there?
Yep. So that's why you got to make sure it's not going between here, because we threaded it from the front to back. Now it's going to be on the back side, so we're going from back to front. Okay. Now push the pelican net back the other way. Now the final hold is this one right here. So that's like the front of the neck, front of the sort of like the eye of the bird. All right. So I'll bring this back, making sure it's above the bar. Alright, and this is the last hole. So we're threaded through the last hole, front to back. Alright, so from front to back there, and now we're going to just let this lay in this space. So it doesn't need to go through anything else, it's just going to lay in this space. Alright, now when you're threading this, I know that when you're moving this back and forth, it will start to sew. So you'll need to take the strings out, making sure that you don't have any strings down in the feed dogs. So we want to make sure that all of our strings are free. Okay? Because if it starts to sew and you're still threading it, once you start to actually sew, it's going to get tangled and your threads are going to break. So make sure all your strings are free. Alright, so let me thread the yellow one now. So I take the yellow one out. And the yellow one is actually really easy. It's the blue one and that little pelican neck where you can probably get, the majority of your issues.